Welcome. I'm Danny Carver.
And I'm Heather Gillette. Today we're going to talk about ways to communicate the value of PTA to prospective and current members. The value of PTA begins with knowing and communicating often our mission to make every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children.
National PTA's market research has showed that this mission statement really resonated with non-members and members alike. For many of the members, they had never heard it before. They shared that it is a cause they can get behind and support as members and volunteers. That is why we need to promote our mission statement as often as possible.
Often, when we talk about communicating the value of PTA, we start with making it personal because it is. It's very personal. And stories stick. People remember stories. They connect with the emotions shared. A story is so personal and persuasive. You need to start with your story. In just a bit, we're going to encourage you to pause this recording for a few minutes to think about the questions you see on the screen. Think of your favorite PTA stories that communicate how PTA has impacted your child's life and improved your school. Think about the people you've met, the skills you've gained, the experiences you never would have had without PTA. Connect with the emotions you have about some of the issues we've tackled together. Maybe there was an issue in your school district or state that really helped you to understand why it is so urgent for you to speak up and advocate for all children. Capture some of these stories in a journal or on a sheet of paper that you can flesh out later. Or if you're in a group, go around the room and share one or two stories each. Press pause now and press play when you're ready. Hopefully, you took some time to reflect on your PTA stories. Don't underestimate the power of your most positive personal experiences to persuade others to join PTA or grow their involvement. You are a mission enthusiast and a champion for our cause. In a one-on-one conversation, the value of PTA is best communicated in a first-person way. Some people call this an elevator pitch, but we think that term is a little too dry and formulaic for this cause. The value of PTA is inside of you, and you just need to tap into the heart of what matters most to you. Communicating the value in a personal way is one step, but when you're meeting with future members, parent leaders of a non-PTA, or educators, you have to move beyond sharing what's inside you. You have to connect with what matters most to them. Danny, can you share more about how to do that?
Thanks, Heather. You may have heard the old saying, we have two ears and one mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. When you are meeting with someone or talking with them about PTA, you need to go beyond your story and try to understand theirs. Start by asking, what do you care most about when it comes to your children? What concerns you most about their education or well being? What concerns you most for the students in your community or your school? Then you can make a match back to what PTA is doing about that care or concern that you may have. Describe ways we can support teachers and engage families in school environments. Talk about how we aren't just a force in school buildings, but also a network of parents, educators, and students advocating in school districts, state legislatures, and on Capitol Hill. Let's share the parent education and leadership development skills you can gain from PTA. Did you know that since 1897, PTA has been working to make every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children? We need to understand where they are starting with their attitudes or perceptions about PTA. Help them to overcome some misperceptions, such as PTA is not a fundraising organization. Yes, we fundraise as all nonprofits do to sustain our mission and improve schools, but we also advocate for needed policies and practices. Help them to understand time and talents are always welcome, but not necessary to join and support PTA. No time is required to be a PTA member. At this point, we can then share some benefits and features of PTA with them. If they are a prospective PTA member, talk about our leadership development or training. Give them a value proposition that aligns with what they need. Let's talk more about features and benefits.
Thanks, Danny. Let's define the value proposition and then show some examples. A value proposition is the messaging that communicates the organizational promise to our desired customers. A value proposition acknowledges the concerns of the audience. We hear you. It connects PTA's efforts or offerings as a solution to these concerns, and it identifies related benefits, and it differentiates PTA among other options without mentioning the other options. For the purpose of this training, let's define value propositions for face-to-face meetings with 3 desired customers: a parent who might join PTA, a parent leader who is unsure about PTA's value, and a school administrator who is considering affiliating with PTA.
Let's start with a parent. From your conversation with this parent, you know they are concerned about limited access to arts education at school. They have shared that they have limited time and interest in volunteering for PTA. This is the perfect time to communicate a value proposition. Let's start by making the connection about shared concerns. What is that PTA specifically doing about the issue of concern? PTA shares your concerns. That's why our PTA hosts the Reflections Art Program for our students, and our fundraising efforts directly support art and music education. We host after-school programs like STEM Club, which infuses art education into science, technology, engineering, and math learning. Now, let's try to describe why PTA is so unique. Of course, it's our advocacy network nationwide. By joining PTA, you help to ensure our kids have access to the arts education programs that exist now, and that can amplify our voice to decision makers about what we'd like to have in the future. PTA is unique among parent organizations in that we have a network of volunteers mobilizing beyond the school building to influence arts education decisions of school board members, state legislators, and Congress. Okay, now it's time to ask, and be sure you address what you already know are concerns, barriers, or misperceptions. We made some progress on this issue and others like school safety and public school funding, but we have more work to do. Will you support us by joining PTA? No time commitment is required. Hit home on the benefits that matter most to them, the ones that impact their child, their family, and their school. As a thank you, we will keep you informed on this and other issues that impact your child's education. We'll keep you updated about the Reflections program and other after-school programs so you can access the best for your child.
So, did you catch the steps of the value proposition? Let's review. You're going to want to make a personal connection to what they care about most. You're going to describe why PTA is so unique. This is where a personal story works great. Then ask to join and proactively address concerns, barriers, or misperceptions. And finally, communicate or recommunicate the benefits that matter most to your audience. Another story here that reinforces the benefits may seal the deal. You want this formula to feel casual and non-rehearsed. You want it to flow as a natural part of the conversation. So once you listen, make the personal connection between PTA and what the person cares about most. Then you can mix up these steps however is most natural to you. Let's try this formula with a parent leader who is not sure why they are affiliated with PTA.
Okay, this one is trickier. From your conversation with this PTA leader, you know he is unsure about the value of PTA. Where do my dues go to? He is frustrated with the lack of parents volunteering at his school. This is a prime time to communicate a value proposition. Let's start by making the connection about shared concerns. Your PTA network is here to support you. Have you heard of School of Excellence? It is a national PTA program that helps you engage more families in your school and PTA. You get a customized roadmap tailored to your school's needs. Many PTAs have seen an increase in PTA members and volunteers as a result. Now, let's describe why PTA is so unique. Our nationwide network of peers. We would be happy to connect you with a PTA leader in our state who has turned around their PTA and improved their PTA school partnership thanks to this program. That's the value of PTA for you, your peer support. Share other benefits that will be most helpful to them, such as programs, grants, trainings, and coaching. You can also benefit from exclusive access to national PTA programs like Reflections and STEM Plus Families, as well as grants, e-learnings, and turnkey tools in the local PTA Leader Kit at ptakit.org. That support extends further with in-person training, coaching, and encouragement at state PTA events. Now, stress the importance of their leadership in PTA, communicating the value in a way that speaks directly to the mission of PTA. A story would work great here. This is a person who doesn't really understand the bigger mission. So the tangible benefits will matter most. But you need to start educating him about the mission of PTA and how it goes beyond the building. For example, you could say, the greatest value of PTA to me is our collective voice as the leading child advocacy association. We represent millions nationwide who want better for our students and schools. Your impact as a PTA leader goes way beyond the school building. By engaging more families in PTA, you increase the influence PTA has on issues that matter most for kids, such as public school funding and school safety. And this is where you would insert your results of recent advocacy efforts.
Thanks, Danny. Now, let's make it even more challenging. As state leaders, you often talk with educators and school administrators about the value of PTA. Take a minute to write your value proposition. Pause the recording and press play when ready. We're back. Let's show you what we came up with, and you can see how it compares to yours. Ours is not necessarily better, it's just a different way of saying it. We'll start by creating the evidence-based link between family engagement and student success, school improvements, and teacher satisfaction. So we might say, PTAs partner with school administrators to engage families in supporting student success and school improvements. As you know, research shows that family engagement works. Not only does it improve student success and well-being, but family engagement is also a key ingredient for public school reform and teacher satisfaction. Next, we'll describe a strategy available only to PTAs. Through exclusive programs like School of Excellence, you gain pre and post data on the family-school partnership while the PTA implements family engagement strategies tailored to your school's needs. We've seen an increase in family engagement as a result of this program and would be happy to connect you with a school leader who has improved family-school partnerships, teacher satisfaction, and the quality of PTA leadership thanks to this program. And then we'll share some other benefits that will be most helpful to them, like programs, grants, training, and coaching. As a nationwide network, PTA provides turnkey tools and support for parent leaders, such as training on financial management, 501c3 compliance, fundraising, and effective ways to lead other volunteers. You also benefit from exclusive access to other national PTA programs like Reflections and STEM Plus Families, as well as grants, e-learnings, and a local PTA leader kit at ptakit.org. That support extends further with in-person training and ongoing coaching through our state PTA. And now let's describe why PTA is so unique, our collective voice advocating for students in schools. National PTA and our state PTA are working with education associations to engage PTA members as a consumer voice advocating for public school funding, among other important issues. And here's where you would insert recent results or specific collaborations that you're aware of. Do you think you've got it? It takes practice.
Whenever you present to educators about PTA, be sure to include what matters most to them. For example, research on the impact of family engagement in student success, teacher satisfaction, and school reform. You can find this information at pta.org/family engagement. Another value is PTA's turnkey programs, parent information, and local PTA leader trainings. Check out pta.org/programs, pta.org/grants, and ptakit.org for examples. The best examples are those delivered in your state and shared with specific examples on the impact on local schools. Talk about PTA's advocacy for public school funding, school safety, and whatever issue that you are partnering with state educator associations to change. National PTA has resources available at pta.org/advocacy and pta.org/takeaction. Finally, give local examples of PTA school partnerships. Feature the school principals and superintendents by name who are supportive and successful with PTA. Share their results. Highlight your schools of excellence. You can find some of these stories on pta.org/excellence. Scan social media in your state. Follow your local PTAs and PTA councils. Share the impact they are having on engaging family to support student success and improving schools.
That's right, Danny. Benjamin Franklin once said, "Tell me and I'll forget. Show me and I might remember. Involve me and I will understand." When training local PTA leaders, empower them to craft their own value propositions. While one-on-one conversation is the best way to share PTA's value, there are other tactics that can truly help to promote the value of PTA every time. For example, flyers. A flyer can communicate and re-communicate the value that PTA delivers. Here are some tips for the messaging on flyers. First, position your PTA logo prominently. Give your PTA the credit for everything that PTA does. Second, highlight benefits of the event or to belonging. Be as specific as you can. What do you gain or walk away with when you come? Provide information, but don't share too much. People don't read all that you write. Keep it as simple and straightforward as possible. You can show the results from the past, and you can do that visually by using pictures from PTA events and incorporate compelling graphics. People like to see themselves and their kids, so using real people photos is great. Just make sure you have permission. Another tip, be consistent with your fonts, graphics, images. Make it easy and enjoyable to skim. Don't forget to promote a hashtag. We always love when you use hashtag PTA Proud, but you decide what works best for your PTA. And finally, distribute a flyer broadly. It can go beyond the backpack. Hang it in the entryways at school. Pass it out in the car line during drop-off or pickup, if allowed. And distribute digitally via email, via text if you have that capability, and certainly via social media.
Social media is a great way to communicate value and build two-way nurturing relationships with members and leaders. Let's talk about some tips you can implement on your state PTA social media or share with your local leaders. First, communicate timely and relevant information. Talk about what concerns your audience most when it comes to PTA's advocacy efforts, and make sure you are the #1 source for that info. Second, seek feedback. Use social media as a vehicle for great customer service and support. Post visuals that celebrate the progress and efforts of PTAs making positive change for kids. Simply put, toot your own horn. Show your gratitude to volunteers and community members supporting PTA's efforts. Create community using social media. Several states have had success facilitating closed groups discussions for targeted leaders, such as local PTA officers or reflections chairs. If you launch a group, make sure you can manage it. Keep the audience engaged and relying on each other. Host a meetup of its members at your state events so they get to know each other personally too. The more you can facilitate a connection to the larger PTA network, the better. That may mean sharing national PTA's posts, featuring a PTA in your state, or promoting something great happening in another state. We can all learn from each other. That's part of our value. Of course, you'll want to promote upcoming events via social media, but don't forget to show the results. Encourage shares and tags. Celebrate your success and the impact of PTA with specific results. For example, don't just show pictures from the meeting or event, share the specific results of the meeting or event. Follow your local PTAs. They are telling some awesome stories. Celebrate them. Share what they are doing, comment, and give encouragement.
Thanks, Danny. You're right. A great job and thank you go a long way. And we want to thank you for being here and for all you do to communicate the value of PTA. We hope you've gained great insights from today's conversation. If you haven't already, download the Leadership Drives membership, self-reflection, and discussion guides to help you dive deeper into these and other topics featured in our series. They include Lead with Inclusion, Analyze your state PTA data and trends, Design your state PTA membership plan, Improve your local PTA customer experience, and train your local PTAs to make a membership growth plan.
Thanks, Heather. If you have feedback on this series or would like to share some ideas for how we can support you in the future, please email ptatraining@pta.org. Again, we want to thank you. You are the fuel for our mission to make every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children. We are so grateful for all you do and the time that you give. Leaders like you are PTA's greatest value.